participants from Zimbabwe. There are two doctors from Zimbabwe who had logged in. There are dietitians also joined in. There are even IT technology experts also coming in for the forum. And yes, our pharmaceutical friends also are in, and our expert faculties. So all of us are participating in interaction. Those who wants to share something, they can share and interact for the same. And at last, we will have the whole group's team photo of all presence of around. Yes. Any comments? Any?
Let me begin. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to Dr. Mayur, Yash, Kurman Bhai, Buch, and everyone. It's a real good beginning. As Kurman rightly said, we have to move to the non-COVID research or what is going on in the aspects other than the COVID, even though COVID is researching. But as I said, that we should discuss immediately after the case, because then the link, the paper, because the link will not be there, and those who came late will be at a loss what was discussed, and we also lose the track. So my first question to Dr. Ms. Rima is about that in the Mediterranean diet, we have not discussed much about the oft repeated asked question by our patients about the ghee and about the coconut oil. So what are her comments about that? Because
yeah, thank you, sir. Basically, ghee and coconut oil are more of saturated fats, and saturated fats definitely have shown a negative effect on the heart health. So I would, but saturated fats are also necessary. So what, as a dietitian, what I suggest to people is that they should have the saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, and polyunsaturated fat in a ratio of 1:1:1, so that they could have the benefits of all and not go for the the disadvantages of these fats. So it's not that saturated fats are required by us, and especially with the vitamin D deficiencies and all that coming up, I feel that cholesterol is required, and it's not that people just forget about, just stop having ghee or coconut oil, and they just concentrate on the international oils, as we say, the European oil, olive oil. It's not advisable.
my point was saying that people who don't eat even fish, where are they going to get these saturated fats? And ghee, probably a virgin ghee, means if you don't use it for frying, it should be coconut oil as well as ghee should be allowed, of course, in limited quantity, keeping in mind the calories part.
So in a healthy, balanced diet, coconut oil and ghee are very good sources, and I would go to the extent that instead of having coconut oil, fresh coconut, which will also have the fiber. So that is also a good source of saturated fats.
My question is refined oil versus or filtered oil versus not refined. One thing, and second is oil used while cooking versus added after cooking. What is the difference?
See, the refined and the filtered oil is the difference in the process, right? So it is refined to take out the smell, which may not be very good. So the filtered oil is preferred because it has more of the nutrients which are saved. It is not taken off during the refining process. As far as the cooking is concerned, we would prefer to use oils which have a higher smoke point, like groundnut oil, where we can deep fry and stir fry the vegetables, or as Gujaratis are very fond of the bhajiyas and everything, which cannot be done with olive oil because it has a low smoke point. So higher smoke point is preferred for cooking the oil, and the lower smoke point oils are used after the cooking, like in salads. So here we prefer olive oil to be used as used in salads, which is on the top. We put it on the top. We don't heat those oils.
Ghani tel versus factory made tel.
Yeah, so the same thing. Ghani tel will have more of the nutrients retained in them. So they are preferred, but they will give a stronger flavor and a stronger odor. Smell will be stronger. So it depends on where you want to use. So especially in frying, refined oils are preferred because we do not want the smell of the oil to overpower the food. But in normal cooking, kachi ghani is best.
I had a talk with the president ADA, and he told me that Dr. Buch, don't go anywhere. I am talking on Asian vegetarian meal, which is the best meal for diabetic type 2.
Yes, sir. And I just have one point which we face. The patients, when they come, when we talk about the advantages of Asian meal and when we talk about the advantages of the oils, the good point, the good part of the oil, what happens is that our patients don't realize that they have to eat this in moderation.
Yes.
So, like I had a diabetic patient who came to me and said that I do not eat bread, I do not eat menda, I do not eat rotli also because it has got wheat flour, but I eat gathia because the chana lot is very good for diabetes. So I said that what about the soda which is added in the gathia? What about the deep frying which is happening? So patients really need to be educated. Just giving them a blanket thing that, okay, this oil is very good for you will not help. You need to educate them that everything in moderation is good.
Ati sarvatra varjayet. Yash is free now.
Okay, I have a question to all people because we are talking about prevention of diabetes in one of the articles. See, for preventing diabetes, we have to go beyond clinic. Maybe because people are coming to our clinic for treatment rather than prevention. So for prevention, we have to go to the community. How can we apply our knowledge of preventing disease or diabetes and metabolic disease to the community? Like what we discussed, the medications and the lifestyle modification, how can we apply? Because people are working in the clinic is a different thing and working in the community is a different thing. People are going to doubt because they are not mentally prepared. They are not ready to take your advice. Now, how can we go?
I think we should begin with the schools and colleges which are our main areas of thirst, and then only the next generation can have it. I don't think people of our generation can improve at all by any education, and that's not a wise investment. Investment should be in the children and the colleges, and
So-
there we should have more health education, and even in their curriculum it should be incorporated.
So people of our generation who have already earned and are in the stage of return should go to the schools and talk to the principals, and in the class arrange for such things that we are doing in the secondary schools in Baroda, and everybody in their city can do it. And if we educate them and also create a facility for type 1 diabetes treatment by the teachers, at least general awareness, these two are very good. We regularly on a Sunday do various slums, and therefore now we have started doing non-invasive blood sugar testing for screening in select group because the percentage there is not very high, but we do have kind of people. So I think if like a group like us, 100 persons doing 1,000 cases, we can have the data, but the school will be better, but the percentage will be small there.
And I have found that younger the children, they are more receptive. And because I get invited every year by a couple of schools, and I have found that convincing the elder group is more difficult because they are teenagers, but the younger groups are excellent. They and the,
5-year girl, she asked, does this have sugar in it? Another one, milk allergy, does it have milk in it? Then she is not crying, she says, that's not for me. It's so clear to them.
yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
To me, rather than going to different schools, every institution or whosoever is involved in management should have only a couple of schools and follow the same people for a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, and keep on doing them. That would work better than rather than going to a school, do a program one time in a year. That's not going to work. So adapt a school and follow people. That would be more fruitful.
My idea was to incorporate in the curriculum itself rather than we going periodically. The curriculum should have all this lifestyle as one of the important subject.
Yeah, but curriculum, including it in the curriculum, has one disadvantage. Then they take it as a moral science thing. You know that we. So if you give them that extra thing, a special talk, then they are more receptive. Here they take it as, you know, and then they will be not, because our teaching is more they just have to learn by heart. Here we can do some workshops or some training. We can include cooking as a part of their curriculum, maybe.
I show Bhavai, and before that I asked what is normal blood sugar fasting post lunch, and after Bhavai 90% are correct. About it's at 8 minutes Bhavai and 90% give correct answer looking at Bhavai. So there are so many options, but the point is well taken. It is not either or, it is all of them to be done by all of us at all the places. I tried nanotechnology talks to 8,000 engineers and engineering schools, and then decided that I cannot reach. I came to the same conclusion as Madhav Bhai, and then I went to the government of Gujarat, and Gujarat is the only city in the only state in the country where nanotechnology is included in 10th science. Now at least they know that I don't know nanotechnology, and for learning, the step one is to know that I don't know. And now they know, and they appear in exam. So they are aware that, okay, nanotechnology મેં વાંચ્યું નથી, હા? Dr. Mori, તમે વાંચ્યું? એમ આવો સવાલ આવે classmates વચ્ચે. Thank you.
Regarding the screening of retinopathy in type 1 diabetes, we discussed, Dr. Kush has mentioned that part. We observed a patient before 8 years. She had proliferative retinopathy and then hemorrhage, and then consulted an ophthalmic surgeon. Then he had suggested the sugar testing, and then type 1 diabetes detected. So what is your observation, or what is your type 1 patients pattern of developing retinopathy? Can you focus something?
So, okay, please.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
My thing was, we got inputs to get into community from a different I'll say the legends from our field, but we would definitely like to explore that aspect to the different part of the world. There are a few doctors from Zimbabwe also, and there are young faculties also in team. So I punctured the question of diabetic retinopathy, but I really insist others to speak about how to penetrate in the community with the prevention drive. So maybe Biju, Jimmy, Dishank, Dr. Ella, Dr. Patience, you can share your inputs if you have anything.
What we can do is, most of our patients who are elderly are occupied by some young daughter-in-law, daughter, son, anybody. So anybody walking in young who can be a potential diabetic, having a history or a heredity for diabetes, his father, mother, uncle, somebody, we can target on them. Every time they come to our clinic, we should get their sugars free checked, weight monitored, keep a track of their vitals and weight specially. For every visit, we should hammer them, because they are going to come to us regularly because of their father or mother who's always seeing us. So it is compulsory for them. So if we hammer them, they're the right person, and then they have seen their parents to suffer. and
Going
then
through, yeah, going
huh,
through. We
they
got
are a
it.
soft target where we can hammer them. In
Wonderful.
schools, most of the time, children are in the naughty mood. They are just playing around.
So I asked for the same. Why? Because schooling is not present at the time in Gujarat in this lockdown and unlock scenario. Then how can we be part of it? And that's why I asked for others inputs.
So what
Yeah.
I do is I do my work for 3, 4, 5 minutes with the patient, but for next 5 minutes I talk with the
Relatives of
relatives who come to us.
Family counseling.
Family counseling, because that is the place they have seen their parents suffer. They have seen them paying lots of money for their betterment of the health or longevity of life. So they know the importance of it. Somebody who has not seen this, they might not understand the gravity of the situation.
That's true. That's true. So
Yes,
is
we
there
should.
any-
Yes,
Yes,
we should
Urman, sir.
keep ourselves restricted to the 7 topics that we discussed, because if we go on talking about generalized topic, there would be no end to it. So
Got it.
answering the thing that Dr. Mayur asked, we have any patient presenting with retinopathy and then detected to diabetes, but type 1 diabetic patients going against the protocol of investigating them for retinopathy after 5 years, we used to do during first year only, and I've seen at least 3 patients of type 1 diabetes having retinopathy at the time of diagnosis. So that change in the protocol is absolutely welcome.
We do before 10 years, we adapted that for each and every type 1 diabetic patients at first clinic visit, we screen for retinopathy. And if there is a slightest part, then we screen for other complications too.
Correct.
Coming back to as Dr. Urman said, we should talk to the topic that you have discussed. And coming, dapagliflozin, DAPA-HF trial was mentioned in that one of the paper. Then inadvertently, he spoke about the trade name. But I'm coming to that question itself. That is dapagliflozin, which has been used in the trial, is same as one which now we get at an inexpensive cost. Is there a difference, and what are the opinions of the experts? I'll tell my opinion later.
Personally speaking, there is a difference in the quality, but it is very early for us to judge.
So maybe Dr. Jimit can take on, and then we all have our opinion to mount on to.
Sir,
Yes.
I have put so many patients on generic DAPA. It's in hundreds now, and glycemic efficacy, I haven't seen any difference. So it's a sponsored free content right now we are delivering. So I can say glycemic efficacy, no difference. But what is important thing is the all these pleiotropic benefits we are talking. We have no method to study them in our OPD. So that is what I can say, sir.
So Mahadev sir, the article which had stated is the original DAPA molecule and their original study for the same with that combination. In that note, what we see, like he mentioned, the individuals taking a medication is much more helpful for this glycemic control and getting non-compliant with the higher cost. So that's where we stake on what to balance it.
No, why I'm telling you that only last week we had GIC, and then one of the cardiologists we had interaction. He came out with a beautiful explanation that why there is a difference. They said that when AstraZeneca came out with the Forxiga, right, they have in fact developed 3 molecules, of which they have kept only 1 for patent. And the other 2, they are the almost isoenzymes of the dapagliflozin. So we don't, none of these inexpensive mention which isomer is used as a dapagliflozin. Everyone writes dapagliflozin, but the first one which is tried is the one which has been tested. The other 2 are out of patent, but they are not tested. So somebody has picked up those and come out with the inexpensive. So they may not be the same. So the point is, if we don't get the results, we may go back to the original one. That's the, or when the patient is cost is not an issue, we better may not shift.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with you. That is the legal battle that national as well as this company AstraZeneca they are fighting for. So the depatented molecules are in the market, and the patented is on which the studies are conducted is not available in the market.
Thank you. So Dr. Urman, over to you, as we are almost completing our time. Is there any interaction of all of others who wants to take on, or can we conclude and catch up on the next? I'll say the next month, third Sunday, that is of 18th of April. I'll just confirm the
Sure.
name. Yeah.
Sure. Before that, a word is the analysis. I won't call it a trial. It is only there. The NNT. I was very much surprised to read it. NNT numbers needed to treat for prevention of diabetes was 46 only, which is significantly low looking at the cost of dapagliflozin, at least in India. So I really, if we all can sit down and try to carry out a small trial of 300, 400, 500 patients and find out the real prevents the onset of diabetes, then this is going to be a full molecule. But from the, nothing more from my side. I must thank you and Dr. Mayur for a wonderful beginning, and on third Sunday next month.
Okay, next time schedule will be 5 + 2 + 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, for each and every article. And at the end, we'll have a general discussion.
No, we keep it after each article.
Yes, that
keep-
is what I'm telling. After each and every article, 2 minutes expert opinion and 3 minutes opinion.
Comments from other audience or comments from other dignitaries, and the ultimate question answer at the end. Yeah. So let's conclude the session with our screenshots, and we can end the session and proceed for the further. Yes. Can you take all